Okay. Right. Very good morning, all of you. So, very warm greetings for this weekend current affairs. Right. There's one more one joining online as well. Right. Now, so last week itself we discussed detail about this no confidence motion. Now that the result up, finally, the no trust motion said it get defeated. Right. Excuse me. Okay. So, quick recollection. No confidence motion, the motion introduced by the opposition parties against the Modi government. Of course, generally the confidence motion or no confidence motion that is relating to testing the majority in the Lok Sabha, whether the existing government is having that simple majority, half plus one, is there or not. But here, the purpose, though opposition is well aware, they don't have the numbers to defeat the government. Still, their purpose served to some extent, stating that they forced the government to discussion or to discuss the major issue of the Manipur and others. So, at least the discussion happened, right, in number of issues. But unfortunately, it's more of allegations each other rather than any concrete result. That is only unfortunate thing. But from coming to our competitive point of view, confidence motion, no confidence motion, quick recollection, confidence motion can be introduced by the ruling party, right? Not by the opposition. No confidence motion done by the opposition. Who introduced, who initiated resolution, there the difference. And trust, confidence in general mean the same. Okay, no trust motion, no confidence motion. It means the same. Confidence motion, trust motion, it means the same. But when it comes to the floor test, okay, even it was used by the Modi in one contest or another. Floor contest implies it is an order, generally either from the head of the state, say president, or the state level, the governor, or sometimes by the court, the Supreme Court. At the national level, also can order the floor. Of course, governor at the state level act as mediator, and finally the speaker has to conduct the test. So that's how those information is there, and these all things based on the simple system that we adopted. So what is that? Ours is a parliamentary system wherein collective responsibility is the bedrock. All the ministers in toto, okay, that is together responsible for their do's and don'ts. Responsible for their do's and don'ts together with whom? With the Lok Sabha, not of Rajya Sabha. This motion is can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. Only Lok Sabha has an exclusive power. Rajya Sabha has nothing to do with this. Rajya Sabha has no power to remove a minister or, for that matter, the entire ministry. Only is an exclusive domain of Lok Sabha. So that's a very clear-cut point you have to keep in mind. And a quick recollection also, once in civils, the question posed, which are the following true or false? If a single minister was removed, can entire ministry has to resign? Removed by Lok Sabha. Okay. Here, Constitution says ministers will be appointed by whom? President, but only on the advice of Prime Minister. and only on the advice of prime minister only president can remove. So that process okay. Even minister can resign on his own, no problem. But if the minister removed by the Lok Sabha, entire ministry has to resign. That is the principle of collective responsibility. Because collective responsibility reflects in some areas, all the ministers in Chocho. The reason why, if any major allegations, either minister resigns, like MJ Akbar done previously regarding Me Too husbands, or if refused to do, then Prime Minister may ask the President to remove. Either of the thing will happen. Say that's what, because the majority is there for the existing government, no issue. But by chance it's removed. That clearly shows that it lost its majority. So it will be. That's what reflection of collective things as per rule. Rule is the rule, right? So that will be. Not only that, even a quick recollection previously I briefed you, even when the motion of thanks to the presidential address get failed in the Lok Sabha, entire ministry has to resign. Okay? After all, the president said something, okay, comes once in a month or once in a year. Once a year only, generally, okay? Just before the budget session or immediately after the elections, he will address the both houses. Just a motion of thanks. Why it is important? Because it is not a president's personal address. It reflects the vision of the government, the mission of the government. So that means you are rejecting this. So it has to be. Similarly, even the budget, lakhs of crores of budget, even if 1 rupee was reduced by Lok Sabha, that's what generally we call it as what motion? Cut motion. Good. The cut motion, then entire ministry has to resign. So this is how this collective responsibility reflects in the things, and 75, right? Article 75 clearly top, and this is a very bedrock of the parliamentary system. So for president, you have the fixed tenure, say 5 years, but prime minister, minister, they don't have. They will be in power till they enjoy the majority support. Not need not be majority party support. Majority support is sufficient. Okay, which part are not is immaterial. Then, long back, a question posed, civils again, which is fallen true. An assembly, parliament dissolved. Will the ministry continues? Will the prime minister and ministers continues? So, generally, so, but president, if you observe very carefully, it's the president who dissolves the Lok Sabha. Dissolution implies terminating the very life of the house, putting an end. So next step is only elections. They are going for elections. So automatically, as this council of ministers headed by prime minister survives only on the majority support, as the very house itself is not there, and this council of ministers is also deemed to be ended. Their term also. Only president now asks is continue till that what interim government or till alternative government, something like this. It's up to the president. Same thing at the state level. Governor asks the same to continue. So that during that period they can't take the major decisions. Okay. So if you observe carefully, that wording comes from the from the they can everything is normal. Major decision will be taken. It's considered as a temporary. Okay, not a full-fledged man. So that point also we have to keep in mind. So any issues, you have doubts regarding no confidence motion? Confidence. So how much majority required to defeat or to win this confidence motion? Simple majority of plus one is sufficient. And only Lok Sabha, nothing to do with Rajya Sabha. Then another controversial bill, Delhi Service Bill, finally passed in the Parliament. Now the bill need to become act. When it will become act? where so once they are not the members now, whether temporarily suspended or disqualified or the very post is vacant, they can't. Okay. Any vacancy may arise, either resignation, right, or death, or suspension, or disqualification, right? Like 2 years back, Rahul Gandhi disqualified for some time, now restored. All these areas, it's out of question. Okay, they won't be. So right now, it's still in the bill form. Bill become act only after the assent of the President of India. So, his signature is required. Then, of course, though it's a formality, but still, within how many days President has to give his signature? The moment President receives the bill from the Parliament, or say, passed to the Council of Ministers, there is no time limit. Whereas in America, within 10 days, President has to say here, no time limit. Generally, President immediately sign it. If not, he will send it back for reconsideration. Second time, he has to sign it. There is no time limit. Article 111 says as early as possible. Only once upon a time, Gnani Jail Singh make use of the clause and delayed for months. Postal bill. But otherwise, for everything, generally the presidents sign, and that to belong to their party only when the relations are cordial. And, and the constitution also demand that the president has to function, right, according to the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Is it shall bound by that advice? Is it president is shall bound by the advice or need not be bound by advice? Okay. Remember the word shall. Okay. Shall is there. Okay. That was introduced by 42nd Constitutional Amendment. Shall bound by the advice. President can't do so. Anyhow, this is going to be an act. So here it became very controversial for two things. One, the very, it looks like it is going against the very act which the parliament itself passed when it is granting a special status, otherwise we call, okay, to the Union Territory of Delhi. Second aspect is that when there is some sort of a tussle between the elected government and the lieutenant governor, this recently the Supreme Court come up and said adhere to the rule. Rule is the rule, law is the law, and accordingly, you can't just do that. Now, the Amit Shah says, there seems to be some ambiguity, so problem. So we wanted to clear that ambiguity, uncertainty to make it. So from that point of view, this came. And both from the prelims point of view, mains point of view, very important, because it all depends upon very the basic structure. Naturally. Okay. Right. So when it comes to the, no, they are not creating anything. Quick recollection, the 69th Constitutional Amendment, right, has granted the Delhi the special status with the called National Capital Territory of Delhi. And Article 239AA was inserted. So one of the thing you have to keep in mind. And this also done on the recommendation of a committee called the Balakrishnan Committee. Okay. So with that, they got the special status. And as still it is a union territory. Delhi is the capital, previously union territory, now also union territory. But union territory generally headed by an administrator whom we call lieutenant governor. That post continues as usual. In addition to that, it was also provided legislative assembly. Previously, only Puducherry used to have assembly. Now Delhi became. So two union territories right now enjoys assembly. What is the third? One more. On paper it is there, but still need to be executed. Jammu and Kashmir. So out of these 8 union territories, 2 union territories already enjoying legislative assembly, and one more is on the card, that is Jammu and Kashmir. So once it's get elections started, then the process commences. Okay, but on paper it is 3, we can say. Okay, assembly is there. So when assembly and nominal, I mean, if at all state, the governor relationship was defined very clearly. But as Delhi is a capital, the national capital, they taught something else. So, to make it very clear, the police, public order, and land, 3 crucial issues. These 3 subjects on this, Delhi cannot legislate. They are not supposed to legislate on this. That is, Delhi Assembly can't legislate. So logically that implies other than the 3, it can do so. So when you say don't do this, 1, 2, 3, remaining you can. Isn't it? So the clarity is there very much on this. Okay. And when the tussle now occurred to address this, the present bill, right, 2013 National Capital Territory Delhi Amendment Bill, generally called as the Delhi Services Bill. Okay. So here, quick recollection of Supreme Court judgment of May 11th only, not long back. It says very clearly that the wording is the India is a democracy. When democracy is rule of the people, by the people, for the people. Already when you have given an assembly, let assembly function. Nominated executive can't dominate. Nominated executive is nominated. He is not an elected. He cannot do as he or she likes. Has to function according to the aid and advice of the elected government. So with this is very clearly says that Delhi has the power other than the 3. Okay, what are those 3? Police, that is law and order, and land related. Okay, the main. Okay, the part. Other than this, yes, they can. If that be the case, then how is that regarding appointments, all the things you try to intervene? Who are you? Right? So the appointing authority, if the person is not dying, how will make that person to work? Is a big question mark. So keeping that in mind, the Supreme Court clearly said, but the government is not happy with the Supreme Court judgment and is not hesitated to overturn the Supreme Court judgment. And very unfortunately, it was overturned by ordinance itself first. It came up with an ordinance. Within a week itself. They are not taken much time. That means, come what may, Delhi should be under my control. It's something like this. Okay? Least bothered about the ethics of the constitution. Otherwise. So ready to go ahead with this. That too done by ordinance. What is ordinance? Yeah, small Jabin entrance, right. Ordinance is an executive order. Okay? It's an executive order. At the central level, promulgated by president, state level by the governor, or otherwise union territory level lieutenant governor. When this executive order can be issued? When the parliament, or for that matter assembly, is not in session. So lawmaking power is a prerogative of the legislature. But legislature will not meet all the days. So overall, we have only 3 sessions functionally. So budget session followed by summer, then winter. Hardly meets overall 40 to 50 days in a year. So remaining time, what to do? So an emergency scenario may occur. Then the president can issue this ordinance. So ordinance will be issued when the parliament is in recess. Recession. Okay. Recess means it's not holding its sessions. Okay. And the rule is also there. For example, parliament is going to meet on Monday. Assume it. Today is Saturday. Can an urgency arises? Can it issue ordinance? No. When the parliament is there, you can't. Even minimum gap should be of 3 days. Saturday can't it be? It may be done on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days gap at least should be there. Okay, minimum gap. Then only it can be issued. Especially when the parliament sessions are on, it can't be because it's the parliament. So when a parliament is not in session, then only it will be introduced. And even the time, it has the same power as the law. It has the same power as the law of the parliament. But time limit is there. What's the time limit of ordinance? Strictly speaking, as per constitution, it is only 6 weeks. 6 weeks of the first meeting of the house. Meeting of the house. The word 6 months is not at all there in the constitution. But why every book, or for that matter, everybody talked about 6 months? Because the gap between one session, second session should not be more than 6 months. So because of that, it's a maximum of 6 months. Okay. So 6 weeks of the first meeting of the house, or 6 months, whichever come earlier, if at all, you may call it. That should be of an ordinance. So anyhow, the ordinance related. Now it was in the form of the bill. So here, uh, so it's only at the time when the constitution words, they use the word recess. Okay. So that means not in session, not hold, not in session, session, not okay, not day-to-day adjournment, like budget session, winter session, summer session. If it is just postponed 2 3 days holiday, 3 4, it can't. It only when it is so. No, at that time, Parliament is not in session, but about to be. But the gap is that's the reason why when Article 123 talking about, yes, President has the power to issue ordinance. Accordingly, it was issued. That's what I said. The gap should be minimum of 3 days. That is there. Only thing is when you know pretty well Parliament is about to meet, how we will issue. Okay, that's what in the beginning itself says they're going against the very ethics of the constitution. I use the word very clear. Okay, so there's a 2 words: the letter and spirit of the constitution. Okay, you may go according to letter of the constitution, but you are going against the spirit. Okay, because entire law, number of times I told you, you have two aspects. One is exemptions are there. Exemption means no law is absolute, right? Second part is in every law some flaw, something missing. Okay, something missing is maybe ambiguity, maybe not clear or not at all there. So there's a possibility using the law, abusing law, misusing the law, everything. So here the government make use of the provision according to its convenience. Say if the president can do nothing when the 42nd amendment included the word shall, president is shall bound by. So president has discretionary power only one, that is appointing prime minister. The moment prime minister appointed, there end the matter. He is just general wording rubber stamp. He can't. Okay. Legally he can't. This is what right now is happening is nothing but some sort of authoritarianism we call. Majoritarianism turn into authoritarianism. And some critics recently comparing with the Italy Mussolini, how Mussolini get elected as the prime minister, the parliamentary system only. In the course of time become and fascism, okay, that arises. So much of dictatorship and resulted the war, isn't it? So the trends are like this, okay, some are comparing. So maybe, okay, it looks like you may or may not accept the complete version, but it looks like, isn't it? The critical look of the version. So that is unfortunate. The reason why we need an opposition, come what may. And people also, we say once upon a time, if something is there, there's a protest. But unfortunately, we don't have now. If at all protest one day, later forget everything. Okay. So only one thing now, at least functioning effectively and able to protect either democracy or the rights of the people is only now the court. The two. In some cases, I can say we can't say the teach and everything else. Overall, we have the trust on the judiciary. They are raising to the occasion. Otherwise, we don't know what is going to be. And remember one thing: now that it was made, it will again back to Supreme Court. Don't think that it will over it. Okay. So there is a concept, right? What is that? Now that they overruled, okay, the Supreme Court judgment was overruled now. Again, it will back to, right? So anyhow, we have the concept of judicial review. Review by judiciary, whether it is according to the constitution or not. Right? Already Supreme Court judgment is there. It's up to. Already anyhow, Delhi government is not happy. So naturally they will file a case. Yeah, it can. It can. On its own, it can take the issue. Okay? There's no issue. Okay? So here the set is, this law says that no matter which government the people of Delhi elect, okay, it will be run by Lieutenant Governor. This is what the message the central government wish to convey. Now, what Supreme Court will say on this issue. So, finally, the Lieutenant Governor only have the discretions over the matters regarding civil service authority and decisions relating to Delhi Legislative Assembly as well. And here, one more point you have to keep in mind is, because government thought that, okay, there's every possibility Supreme Court may strike it off. It laid down some procedures. It said that we are not doing on our own, our Lieutenant Governor is not sole authority. While appointing, okay, the service comprises, okay, National Capital Services comprises the Chief Secretary of Delhi, the Principal Home Secretary of Delhi, as well as the Delhi chief ministers. So two more was added here: Home Secretary, Chief Secretary. Again, who will appoint these two? Lieutenant Governor. So some sort of a collegium, a team was created. So once the three is there, generally in democracy, majority is law. But this sort of things, what will happen is consent is required. One is not able to, then how long it will continue is a bigger question mark. So regarding control of appointments, transfers, postings of all the bureaucrats. Now, when the lieutenant governor implies nothing but the central government, right? They wanted to control. They got it now. See, even the small thing, appointment, transfer, and postings, everything, they have it. And they also have the power to create a new post, as well as it can also abolish the existing post. Okay, the movement is up to, I think, around 36 plus officers already done away with. Okay, there is a, okay, what that speed is called. Okay, okay, in a rapid speed they are doing it. Okay, okay. Then this select committee, we called it as the JSC, Joint Selection Committee. Okay, equal representation they wanted to provide, both from the central government as well as the state government. And if any disputes are there, there's a mechanism to resolve that dispute between central government and the Delhi government on related to postings. So they created everything for sake of law, so that to address the judicial review. So here the opposition is very critical on this from the day one, and he said, of course, accused BJP led government trying to usurp powers through the back door. So finally, hidden agenda, that's what you call. You stated one thing, but your agenda is different. So previously BJP is in power. At the time it has not done. Now it's a different party in power. Now it is doing it. So it's all depends upon, as they are not able to come back to the power, to create some sort of irritations to the existing government and put in hurdles in all the way, so that they will blame their west and let double engine mindset. Okay, they want to create among the people. So that is what the allegation made by Kejriwal and team. And Shashi Tharoor made one point very clear: the bill undermines, is the word separation of powers and federalism, two words used, and very important also. When the federalism, you know better with the state central government and division of powers between central and state government. And when it comes to the legislative matters, we have specific schedule. Which schedule deals with legislative powers? Union list, state list, concurrent list. Seventh schedule. Good. So seventh schedule, when you're talking about powers, right? And now Delhi, though union territory, it has the same thing yet. Whatever be in the state list, they can legislate except stated don'ts. Okay, that was given. That means virtually is a part of it, the Indian federal structure. Though it's a federal in structure, unitarian spirit, and we are calling it generally as a quasi-federal, but the constitution used the word what? Union of states. The word federation was nowhere used in the constitution, or quasi-federal, not used. Only union of states. But still, that federal structure is a basic structure. Keshwanda Bharata case clearly stipulated that division of powers is a basic structure. That is of federal. Then when it comes to the separation of powers, what it means? So in the federalism, you will find division of powers, right? What is separation of powers? separating, okay, part is concerned. So this is concerned with the organs of government. We have three organs: legislature, executive, judiciary. Legislature lawmaking, executive implements, judiciary interprets. Legislature make the laws, and those laws will be implemented by executive, and whether they are according to the constitution or done by the judiciary. So separate functions. The three organs, then only we'll say government. So they should be separated and function independently. One should not dominate the another. At the same time, they should not be divided. They should be only separated. Okay? There should be some sort of coordination, some sort of checks and balances. Nobody can function beyond it. If the complete legislature, executive, judiciary, there's actual separation of powers pronounced by the famous political scientist Montesquieu, where that was implemented with checks and balances in America, presidential system. Okay, in a presidential system, they are separated and function independently. Okay, so that nobody can become dominant. But in a parliamentary system like India, these two function together in a parliamentary system. Legislature, executive depend on each other, coexist. Okay. For example, executive is drawn from legislature only. All the ministers, including prime minister, should be the member of either house. If not, they should get re-elected. Isn't it? Similarly, legislature has the power to remove the ministers by no confidence motion. Okay. Similarly, legislature only elect the president. President can be removed by again legislature. So that sort of interlink is there. All the bills become acts only after the signature of executive. When legislature is not there, requisition ordinance, all some sort of coordination and things. But judiciary is separated, independent. Even the constitution, which article stipulates? Article 50 clearly states that judiciary must be separated from what? Executive. Because judges are appointed by president. President should not have any control over that. The reason why the constitution itself provided removal of judges by whom? By the parliament, not by executive. So that they can function independently. Now, what you are doing? Supreme Court delivered judgment, you are overriding instead of honoring.
Already they have powers as the damage and damage is appointed by UPSC, and that is now the control of the central is over the administration. Administration is the unit or whatever state. One of the provisions for a center to control over state is all it is. Why the need arises when they have the subject of police, public order land. This is like very authoritarian.
That's what I'm saying. Actually, there's no need also. You need not worry about who will appoint the clerk. Right? Let,
Already they have
hmm.
powers of appointing the
Higher authority, already it is there. Okay? So, that's what sometimes, no? Everything should be done. So, this is, in a way, though personal level, no, we use the word ego clashes. Unfortunately, it looks like those are prevailing at the helm rather than the reason, the rationality. So sometimes personal interests, not even party interests, personal interests got top priority over the national interests. So this is an unfortunate trend that is happening in a way. Yeah, Hembindu Aparna mentioned Article 50. Good. So the good responses on the online too today. So that's what the separation of powers, division of powers you have to keep in mind. So division of powers implies is the federal structure, states and central government. And when the separation of powers is regarding legislature, executive and judicial. Okay. But government, come what may, supporting anything that to ensure smooth functioning of the administration. That's what simply they are stating the words. Okay. And now said it only clarifies the existing arrangement and nothing it is doing it. Okay. So always anyhow they use that they're alleging the present Delhi government is corrupt, so corruption free government we wanted to make it. So we had to wait and see who is right one. These are all subjective. But only here, any clarification, the word interpretation generally done by whom? Who has the power? Only the court. Already court clarified. How is that you will further clarify the clarification? Right? And by that you are undoing that. Okay? So,
Now it has to play the role of opposition.
yeah, it looks like the ruling party is playing the opposition to the court. So, clash between the executive and judiciary. Now we have to wait and see what the Supreme Court and respond to it. But anyhow, Supreme Court has the power of judicial review. Secondly, it has the power of review its own judgments. For example, if Supreme Court feel that okay, this law is good enough, okay, it can do also. It can reverse its previous judgments. That has the power to review. Judicial review is different from the power of review. Okay. Then one more relating to overriding the Supreme Court decision, okay, is regarding election commission and chief election commissioners appointments. So, uh, Article 324, right, clearly talking about election commission. So we have the Central Election Commission, Election Commission of India, we call, will take care of all elections. What are the elections it will take care? ECI, all MP, members of the parliament, members of the state legislative assembly, in addition to the president, vice president elections also, it will take care. Okay, it will not look into the local body elections. That was done by State Election Commission. Okay. So present election commission is a multi-member, right? So that is 3 members, one chief election commissioner, 2 election commissioners, right? Appointed, of course, by the president. What the period continues for a period of once appointed 6 years or 65 years of age, whichever comes earlier. Okay, that earlier is important. Now, this is the constitution made it. What are the qualifications to become a chief election commissioner or election commissioner for that matter? Here, actually, in every law there is a flaw. Something was not mentioned, missing. Constitution only says, let the parliament make a law. Okay, always anything else. For everything, Constitution will say something. Anything addition can be added by the parliament. So, till parliament make a law, whatever be the existing arrangements continues. Hitherto, some senior IAS officers will be chosen. Okay, most often. But when the TN session was chosen, okay, so everybody considered the he-man came, listen to nobody. Then feeling the power of election commission. Even common man surprised, oh, election commission has so many powers, nobody used. So they feel that, okay, let us undo the single member election commission, and two more commissioners were added, and they have equal powers. Okay, they have equal powers, but power of removal is different. So these three, they enjoyed equal powers. For example, when the decision comes, all three has to say yes, or majority, two-third majority out of three. When it comes to two, is chief election commissioner is not having any special power. Out of the three, who whatever the two persons said is right. Whether it may be two election commissioners together or one election commissioner, one chief election commissioner, is a different story. Two has to say, then only decision go ahead. So they enjoy the equal powers. But when it comes to the power of removal, procedure is different, because this chief election commissioner enjoys same salary, privileges, process of removal as judges of Supreme Court, not this election commissioners. Okay, their removal process is different. There's only. So now that elections are on coming, and like regarding Delhi, here also Supreme Court, while appointing election commissioners, stated very clearly what is the procedure you are adopting. So once it is not satisfied, they said is there should be some sort of a collegium system. Okay, a three members, and chief justice should be in that, and that irritated the government. Why chief justice all the time? Wherever chief justice is there, they are facing some problem, especially appointing CBI director last time when Ramana. Because of this, the prime minister has to bow, then appointed another one rather than his choice. So we have the clear examples. And now this YV Chandratu's longest tenure, and he will listen to nobody. Then why risk? Elections are coming now. So keeping all these permutations and combinations of the politics, perhaps the government wanted to undo all this thing, address innumerable things. Here it will give more clarity, more detailed provisions regarding this. In the process, okay, whether election commissions still survive or not. A quick recollection, a constitutional bench led by K.M. Joseph, of course now retired, that ordered that Chief Justice should be there in the selection committee of CS. Okay? In the selection committee, Chief Justice should be there. So that was done when the K.M. Joseph headed constitutional bench, and they also not done the wish. It was long back recommended in 1990 by Dinesh Goswami committee. So generally we call Goswami committee, with the law minister then appointed regarding electoral reforms. So 1990 the committee recommended. So far those are not adhered. Then Joshi team came up, why don't you do that? That's the best. Instead of doing according to your own whims and fancies, so let the election commission, being a constitutional body, also an independent body. Then only it is able to conduct the free and fair elections. Okay, already innumerable allegations in recent times. Even the dates are fixed according to convenient ruling party. Okay, and electoral rolls controversies. Some places the removal of electoral rolls outrightly, so that the balancing will be done all the way. Adding somebody who are not at all there. So all the issues are there. Plus manipulating electronic systems, all the things, okay, EVMs, voting systems. So we have allegations. So we need an independent electoral. So accordingly, it is thing is concerned. So here, these two things you have to keep in mind. Long back, 1990, Goswami committee. Goswami is nothing but then law minister, recommended this, and now that was invoked by the court, and court stated that yes, in the panel of three minimum, then the prime minister, of course, then leader of the opposition, then the chief justice. They will decide, like the CBI director. Okay. And recently, when Joseph and team come up, because there's a bill was filed, there is a public interest file in 2015. This is called Anup Baranwal ruling. So, in this case, okay, they dealt in detail about this Article 324(2), which is specifically talking about this appointments system. Okay. So, when the parliament law is not there, right now, president making all the appointments. So, based on this Anup Baranwal public interest litigation, the Supreme Court referred to 5-judge constitutional bench this matter in 2018. Okay. And finally, the delivered judgment only in this year, March 2023. Okay, though it was on back ordered. So the bench very clearly says PM, leader of the opposition, and the chief justice, this committee. So this is all the briefing you have to keep in mind. Okay, so on Anup Baranwal case, this is. Now, the bill, what it wanted to is, it wanted to replace CJ. It don't want. Let be the collegium system, right? Let be the team. Selection committee will be there, but minus CJ. Why CJ? What judicial person knows? He only knows the law. He don't know anything. That's what the general thing is concerned. Another argument, a peculiar argument, or maybe sometimes logically it looks like right. Now CJ is in the appointing panel. Anything, not only this, any appointing panel. Somebody questioned that very appointment for one reason or the another. Everybody has the power. No? Why this person appointed? That case came to the Supreme Court. Now what Supreme Court will say? Can this Chief Justice headed there? Can head? He can't. Right? When Chief Justice can't head that, because he only involved in appointing, can other judges dared enough to go against? Already Chief Justice is there in the panel. Can other judges dared enough to go against? So implies that the approval of the court is there. Okay? Logically, it's true. So why CJ? Right? So sometimes, argument for argument's sake, sometimes no doubt, but at the same time, it's have the point.
Even the removal of CJ or any judge of the Supreme Court, he has to go through a parliamentary process. Appointment of any, it is overruling the president.
Okay. Anyhow, here even that can be addressed. First of all, CJ involved. CJ will recuse himself. Number one. Number two, instead of a single judge, they may go for constitutional bench. Right? 5 members, 7 members, 9 members, yeah, if necessary. So there always an alternative solution is there. Now, what I mean to say is, yes, this is an argument put forward to convince these neutrals. Okay, all the time in the part. But anyhow, this committee, this bill proposes a new concept called search committee. Before selection committee, there will be a search committee headed by cabinet secretary and 2 other members not below the rank of secretary. So first, these search who are the best suitable person, they will recommend say 5 names. Those 5 names came to selection committee. This selection committee will finalize one name out of it. So a procedure they adopted. And now, previously said, just now I posed the question, what are the qualification of Chief Justice, Chief Electoral Commission? Nothing was mentioned. Now they mention. Okay. Now it is as the first time they mention, no doubt from competitive point of view, very important. So the mention is appointment among us the person who are holding or held the position equivalent to the rank of secretary. Okay. And shall be the persons of integrity. Okay. And knowledge of experience in the management and conduct of elections. Actually, everything is doing right now. So they are not, without the having the person having the knowledge in conducting elections, nobody will going to be appointed as election commissioner, chief collector. The reason why IAS, because definitely once an IAS at the one time or the another is a collector, and district collector is nothing but returning officer, right? And before that, he is a joint collector or something, and is a machinery only involved in the elections. So that person know from ground level onwards, right? So naturally, they are involved in one time and they are chosen at this. Yeah. Then another thing, they seek to protect the two election commissioners. Okay, protect these two election commissioners from removal on par with CEC now. Now they can be removed on par with CEC. Previous procedure is that if CEC can recommend, president can do so. No need for parliament. But presently it was done away. Same process as the CEC. Okay, so even the discretionary power was done away with. Same process as the removal of the Supreme Court judges. How the Supreme Court judges will be removed? Hmm? Well, means how much majority? Two-third majority. Two-third majority in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, or both. Two-third means, for example, they are say 300. Out two-third is 200. Uh, Two-third means how much? Out of the present and voting, or total members? Uh, because that question already appeared in our cells. Civils already that question appears. And groups it has also appears. In one form or the another, it getting repeated different way. So here, Parliament had the power to remove the judges only on two grounds. What are the grounds? Misbehavior. Okay. Misbehavior in capacity. So on these grounds, they can be removed. Misbehavior include the corruption charges and all the things. Incapacity, physical. Okay. When physically you can't sit for a longer time, not able to hear all the issues, it can be removed. Removed by whom? Only Parliament. Parliament implies both Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. In the both places, you need to get two-third majority. So when you come to the two-third, what it implies is two-third of the total members present. First of all, minimum attendance should be two-third. Out of this presence attended, then two-third. So if the 300 members, so for calculation I can say, two-third is 200. Minimum 200 should present. Assume 201 members presented. Let us add one more extra. Out of this 201, two-thirds should say. So it is 7 into 2, 140 members should accept. It is not of total two-thirds. Okay, and that was clearly mentioned in the constitution. Yeah, this also here also, both the things. And similarly, this Lok Sabha separate, Rajya Sabha separate. No joint session. That means separate sessions. It should be accepted. Introduce either house. Assume Lok Sabha introduced, Lok Sabha passed, Rajya Sabha rejected. That stand rejected. Or introduced in Rajya Sabha, Rajya Sabha passed, Lok Sabha rejected. That stand rejected. Or very first house itself rejected. That stand rejected. It will not go to second house at all. Okay. So fortunately, so far not a single judge was removed. Low on Ramaswamy, this allegation. So now the same process applies to election commission. And any election commissioners removed? Chief election commissioner so far? So far, no. Okay, only term. Now the same thing was assigned to this. So even to the election commissioners. Okay. So for last 2 decades, right, there's a demand, and finally now that's one of the a positive feature of this bill. Then one more positive is also that they equated with Supreme Court judges now. Okay, the election commissioners also equated with the Supreme Court judge. But when it comes to the salary, allowances, they are equated with chief secretary rank rather than judges. Of course, chief secretary receive the same salary as judge of the Supreme Court. But when it comes to the other, okay, what you call protocols, it differs. Okay, so in a way, you downgraded the status of CEC and election commissioners. Okay, hitherto they enjoy judges. So in the protocol, priority will be there in this concern. So there the problem arises. So now that you included with the chief secretary, so that is a concern expressed. So those are the issues of election commission related. Any doubt before we get into the next topic? Yeah, back to another thing. Okay, as the parliament session is on now, and from long promised, let us undo the British era rules and regulations. So even now, Indian Contract Act, all right, 1869, 87. Why all these things? Why you can't make yourself on your own? So at last, now they came up. Okay, so IPC, Indian Penal Code, CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code, and Evidence Act, all the three now has done away with and coming of the new laws. Okay, of course, some comment is this is old wine in the new bottle. So we have to wait and see how they are going to be make it. So old IPC now called as Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita.
Why should we accept the Hindi names?
Okay. So technically not. Okay. Other part is concerned. So sometimes, no, certain things, words is a discretion of the party in power. Okay. So the persons we have to leave those things. So Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay. So if you translate it to English, when it's a Nyaya Sanhita, is nothing but judicial system.
when the regiments are recently after so many years they are giving in a vernacular, and that is with the translation of English. So when it comes to this thing, English is the
Finally, lingua franca we call.
other system.
Okay. So penal. So those who are not aware this legal term, penal is punishment. If somebody committed a murder, what should be the punishment? Right? It may be life imprisonment. Life imprisonment 20 years. Or it may be hanged to death, capital punishment that's called. Or it may be 10 years. It may be 7 years, 2 years, one, like this, right? Whatever you said, a punishment in jail, a penal. Okay? Criminal implies is that. So once only fine, it comes under law of torts, a civil wrong. And a criminal wrong automatically follows a jail term also, maybe a 1 day. So that is the penal punishment. What should be? You have done some crime. What should be punishment mentioned here? Procedure. Okay. What is the procedure to adopt starting from investigation onward to awarding punishment? Okay. You can't do just like this. Okay. So that was mentioned. Here it says Bharatiya Nagarikik Suraksha Sanhita. All Sanhita systems are there. Okay. So when you say Nagarika, some sort of civilizational. Okay. So finally, when the civil procedure like this they are making, Indian evidence. So for everything you need a proof. Okay. If I kill somebody, I've been surrender the police, I killed so and so. First they will ask is where is the dead body? If you kill somebody, and if you can't show dead body and no weapon, nothing, they will not believe at all. Okay. So some sort of evidence is required. Okay. Evidence is so that demands in a way. So that now they are calling it as Sakshiya, Sakshiya bill, Saksha. Okay. Sakshi, Saksha. So sometimes looking at a combination of the Sanskrit words or Hindi words or Telugu words. Okay. And the present generation will take some time. Okay, in the future, right? We may get this IPC, IPC, which is concerned. So, so now to make it simple, IPC become BNS, and this CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code, become BNSS. Okay, one more S is there. Then Indian Evidence Act, IEA, generally called only Evidence Act, that become BSB, BSA. Later, bill will become Act. Okay, Bharatiya Saksha Act, that is going to become a BS. Okay. So now these word BNS, BNSS, BS, you have to be habituated. Okay. Even if you remove this, okay. So what is double S? What is yes? All the things we need to be on this. Okay. Anyhow, there's nothing wrong, but the people should understand what it means. So it will take some time to digest it. Okay. Then the course of time, they only knows that not this attest. So here is very clear. In future, you will get only this year. So next generation is not aware of this. Yes. So 1860, 90. This is also 1893, not 19, right? 18, then 1892. Okay. This is 18. So all these things and the old. Then one more thing, good thing happen is sedition also done away. Once IPC done away with, automatically sedition also done. That's what we call section 124A. Now it's no more. And Supreme Court already stated very clearly no case should be registered on seditions, because it's the most thing misused, abused article by the thing. So when the British government added, whoever say anything against the British government, they used to be arrested as if they're functioning or acting against the nation. Now, if you are criticizing government, it was treated as if you are criticizing the country. You are doing some anti-national activities, and sedition charges are leveled. So, as it was why most often the misuse, now they are doing away with this, and acts of secession, though it is there, is coming, that is going to replace this one. So let us wait and see what that is going to be. Okay, new law. So we are getting the new. So once it comes, then only we'll come to know what it's all about. So those are the quick recollections. Then one more thing on the data protection bill was passed by the both houses. Now shortly it is also going to become act the moment president sign on this. So data protection is very clear, right? Now that is very, very important, and right to privacy is our fundamental right. So without our consent, nobody can use your data. And their use and misuse is happening. Use no problem. If the misuse, then the problems are arising. Recently, allegation in one hospital, and a person's health data was leaked. Okay, especially the women, when you talk, they have their own way, and that resulted in negative consequences. Then later investigate how it come to know about. Now she filed a case in the court, how that thing can be leaked. Okay, the personal data by it. So generally we'll tell the truth to the doctors, lawyers, and everything. And if it is used, misused, no problem properly, but misused and blackmailed, with that the problems will arise. And not only that, now that everything is online, your money transfers from one paisa to 1 crore, everything, right? Now everything is transactions. So definitely some money you will keep in your bank, and that need to be secure. What is the secured guarantee for your passwords? The other day news, no, the Google Chrome. Okay, they are started previously, rather than Google Chrome is better. But that's the news. There's even they are great enough to enter into. And you have occasions also your money get disappears in spite of various security measures taken. And your Aadhaar card data, once everything is there, no, for everything, even our applications, admissions, you are giving full details if it's going to do. So recent received a call, you are so and so, I see somebody known person is calling. Then they started this commercial class. Then I understand, right? So once they're addressing me by name and my related issues, only known person, then how the unknown person knows? So definitely they got the data from very close quarters. So who are they, right? Now you are purchasing the SIM, you are giving your Aadhaar card, if they are selling that data, right? These people are selling. You are going and purchasing something in a shop. Shop wala comes some gift coupon, this coupon, give your phone number, your name. You will give it, and they collect the data and selling it to real estate, sell the persons and everything, right? So, and Facebook, Twitter, everything is your information is there, and you are getting emails also now, right? So, why this unwanted, unwarranted issues? So, any misuse has to be punished. So, data can be used only with consent. The consent column is there. And if any not adherent to penalty to tune of 200 crores, I mean up to 500 crores, it can be imposed on the things. Recently in France, no, the Google was fined for $50 million. Okay, the fine. There the laws are there. We don't have that much in India. So from that point of view, it's very good. But the problem arises why opposition parties are stating is it has given again unquestionable power to the governments to use the data. Your consent is not required. It can use once they collect the data, it can use anywhere else. Okay. So there's only provision of storage of data using data, but collection, who will collect? Now there's the issue is going in Andhra state, Andhra Pradesh. Okay. And when the person at the low end, though looks like representing the government, but not a government employee, who? Huh? Not village assistant, volunteer. So volunteer was assigned. Volunteer is not a government servant right now, official. Volunteer is volunteer, is an assisting. How he will do so? Right? So the big question mark, who can collect? And those issues are not addressed by the bill. Collection part, not addressed. Only storage, using, misusing, that was addressed. Plus, government got absolute powers. What it? You can't question the government. If you use it, if it's wherever storage, we can. So that's anyhow, from exam point to keep these 6 points in mind because there's a big story. Lawful collection and usage of personal data, and it must be protected from breach. That's the first point. Okay. So always it should be lawful, both the collection as well as usage, and protected from the breach. And whatever be the purpose of your collection, that should be for the legal purpose and nothing else. And only relevant data should be collected. Again, there's an issue in Andhra state, right? Why you are collecting so much of data? What is the need for you to know certain things? And data protection and accountability, how you are doing, and once the collected, who is accountable, right? Use and misuse. Allegation is that some girls are missing in a way it is concerned. So what all this about? Is there anything link is there? All the issues need to be looked into, and accuracy as well as any breach should be reported fairly. So these are the very crucial purpose of this bill which has to be done, and whatever it be, consent is very essential, come what may. Consent, and followed by the penal, the punishment for inheritance. So the other clauses involved. Then come to another issue. The Kerala wish to change its name to Keralam. Another M they want to add. Okay. So initially, I thought that maybe it's something like a numerology. Okay, something. Uh, those who don't like Jayalalitha, okay, double A, she used to keep like this all the things, and numerology part. But the justification they have done is relating to the invoking the traditions, customs as per the ancient scripts. It should be Keralam, not of Kerala. So they want to go back. And for Kerala, it is not a new. Number of cities of Kerala was renamed already. Like Trivandrum now become Thiruvananthapuram. Of course, state level they can do on their own. But once you are changing the name, who can do that? Only Parliament. So one, that is the reason why adopt resolution urging, okay, whom? The center. So here once urging the center is nothing but here only Parliament can do so. Under which article? Parliament has the power to rename the state. For that matter, it can create a state, it can bifurcate a state, convert U2 into state, everything, no? Article 3. Okay? Under it, it can do so. So only Parliament can do so, not the state, vis-a-vis the changing the name of the state is concerned. City can be do by concerned state. Even when N.T. Ramarao is in power, they thought of Telugu Nadu, like Tamil Nadu. Why can't we have Telugu Nadu? Why Andhra Pradesh? Okay, but anyhow, somehow that was not done. Okay, and similarly, they wanted to make a change in the eighth schedule as well. Eighth schedule is dealing with official languages. What's the official language of Kerala? Malayalam. Okay. Then coming from this political issues to back to now, race to the moon is on. So days after this, India, now the Russia launches its first lunar mission after 50 years, right? And NASA is also in the plan, and Russia's name is called Luna 25. Okay. Now this Luna is also landing on the South Pole. Right now, our Chandrayaan 3 also it is virtually on the way now, and expected date of landing is August 23rd. And Russia want to at least a day earlier, though late, they want to reach faster. So let us wait and see either the same day or a day earlier it will reach. So now again, race to moon started. So why calling is now NASA also in 25 planning to do in the South Pole. Anyhow, the Americans first sent their humans to okay, later Russians and everybody. Now in the South Pole they are focusing on that. So first who will become now? India, Russia is a question mark. And NASA is an American, right? What is the full form of NASA? National Aeronautics Space. A for agency or application? Eh? Right. Anyhow, cross check with the Google if any deleted intents. Then, of course, India having one more March, Indian mini satellite 1 is coming up. So, IMS 1 is something like a satellite bus technology. To alpha design technology, it is moving all the way, and done by this ISRO, US Rao Satellite Center of ISRO. It is getting it. So it's a low cost access to space. That's the purpose of this mini satellite. So we have to wait and see. Hardly IMS bus weighs 100 kilograms only and can carry 30 kilograms of payload. So mainly to study this earth imaging, ocean, atmosphere, microwave, remote sensing purposes, they are going to use this one. So we have to wait and see in future how it is going to be. Then you have the Matcha 6000. It is we have developed this manned scientific submersible one. Okay. So when you call this scientific submersible, it can carry 3 humans for a period of 12 hours to the depth of 60,000 meters into the ocean. So mainly for this integrated mining mission purpose, they will use it maximum part. Okay. So mainly it wanted to be used for this purpose. Then, of course, coming to international, we not only national connect, we want to have international connect. So, Indian Railways to begin international train services between India and Bhutan. Already we have with Bangladesh, previously Pakistan. Okay, now we are going to have with the Bhutan as well. And this railway line connects Bhutan's Jolofu, and what India's Kokrajhar, that is in Assam. Okay, the place, starting place it is. Okay, which place to which place? Nepal we have, right? Now the Bhutan is the first part. Is going. Then shortly this month, right? August 22 is coming it up, and BRICS summit is going to be held in Johannesburg. So BRICS stands for, last time we discussed quickly. Okay, five countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So Johannesburg is where South Africa now meeting is going to be takes place. We have to wait and see. And the Algeria and few countries they applied to join. So whether they will open for other countries or not, also the decision is going to be taken here. So overall, 25 countries applied for membership. Let us see. Then we have the Malabar exercises. There's a quad exercise we call. Now Australia is hosting this quad exercise. Quad is quadrilateral security dialogue of four countries. What are those four countries? India, Australia, Japan, and things. So, right? No, we call this quad. So, last exercise happened in Vishakhapatnam only. And a quick recollection of this, right? The Falcon Shield, China and UAE. Then, similarly, Mongolia related Kochi, Solvex, and Visakhapatnam related to Japan India maritime exercise also happened here. Okay, so that's all for today. So, any doubts, clarifications? Nothing? Asian NATO, yeah, Quad is in a way Asian NATO. That's what Chinese and Russian considered that. Right. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. So, meet you next week. Bye.